Hi, this is Stu from Happy Wheels again, and today we're going to lube up the bike. So some of the things that you can do wrong with lubing up the bike is you can over lube the bike or use the wrong lubricant on the parts of the bike, and this in turn can damage the parts, or in the case of a mountain bike can contaminate the brake pads, and then you have to replace everything. So one of the things that people use a lot of, which is not very correct, is called WD-40, and it's a water dispersant, and there's other brands that are very similar. And although it seems like lube, it's not lube, it's a water dispersant, and it won't help the parts. The other thing that people do, especially with mountain bikes, is they use aerosol sprays, lubes. So they, for instance, they come down here and they spray with the aerosol, like here, and all the lube goes over here to your disc brake and contaminates the pad. And once the pad is contaminated, you have to throw it away and put new pads in. So that can be quite expensive. So today we're going to just lube up the drive chain to start off with. So have some lube and a rag ready. And so we've got it up on the stand so it's nice and easy. So what we're going to do, as you can see, it's in a nice easy gear. It's not too tight, not too hard. What you're going to do is you're going to be turning it backwards to do the lube, and you're just going to drizzle the oil just a little bit. You go around a few times, I like to, and then you get your rag and you go underneath, and then once more you run it through there. And that'll get all the excess off, and as you can see there's a lot of excess, and it sort of cleans it at the same time. Because all you just need a little bit of oil in the rollers here. The outside part of the chain, it doesn't really need to be lubed up, just the rollers here so it can pivot properly. So the next part we're going to lube up is the derailleur area. So essentially you think of it, any moving part or any pivoting part, you sort of need to give it a bit of lube so it can move easy. So there, where it's joining the frame, here, where it's going to be pivoting, and there's a little bit in here. Here, where you're going to adjust it, you do a little bit on the screw if you want. Then you go like here, that bit, where the cage sits off, around there, and you can put a little bit on the spring too. So once you've done that, you just get your rag, you let it soak in for a sec, and then you wipe it off so you don't have any excess, so it doesn't attract dirt. The next part is going to be the jockey wheels, because quite often, you know, they're only made up of bushings, they don't have a bearing in there. So if you don't put any lube in, so we spin it a bit, and we just put a little bit in there. In there, both sides. Oops. Cool. Once more, if you can get in there and just get rid of the excess, then it doesn't attract as much dirt later. Cool. So the next place is the front derailleur. And as you can see here, we've got pivot points again. Anything with a pivot point, you just need a little dash. It just needs to be, you know, and then on the spring, and then once more wipe it down. And then for the brake, so the brake area, you've got the pivot points here, the spring on the other side, this adjustment barrel, and the quick release. So just a little bit in there, a little bit in there, a little bit on the spring, a little bit on the barrel adjuster, and the quick release. So once you've done the quick release, I like to just open, shut, and that sort of just works the lube in. And once more, get your rag, wipe over it so there's no excess. Just check that it might be squeaking before, so you just do it a little bit to work the oil in so it doesn't make a squeaky noise. So then you do the front again, same brake generally. So you do a little bit there, and as you can see with this one, you can see the spring more this time. You just just put a bit of oil on the spring, and then down where it meets the rest of the brake. Once more, quick release, work it in, wipe it over, and it's lubed up. And probably the only other place you might want to put some is some pedals. You can put a little bit in here. There's a spring in the pedals. You can put a little bit in there, and that's how you lube up a bike. And these are some of the products that you might want to use on the chain, depending on the conditions that you're going to use them in. Wetter lubes you use on the wet days. Dry lubes you might use for just race bikes. Wet lubes you can use for mountain bikes, commuters. They stay on and stay on. They go on and stay on quite wet and stay on for a long time. You can get lubes that are biodegradable now. So some people like to be good with the earth and stuff. And then the most important thing, in my opinion, is a chain cleaner. So there's no use putting oil in, because then you're just putting oil on oil on oil, and you end up, your chain just gets clogged up with a whole heap of crap. So if you put this if you use a chain cleaner, it's a very good investment. It doesn't cost very much, something like $40, and it means you can clean your chain so it's nice and silver and clean like this with no grit or dirt. And then when you lube it up properly, it'll last a lot longer, and it'll be much better for your bike. Okay, that's how you lube up a bike and which lube to use.